Hello everyone. So today we got a really weird case of a black teen about 2 days ago spray painting racist graffiti on his own car to blame white people for it. And he goes all over the internet and screams all this racist stuff all the time. Apparently this is what this kid does. And it's kind of messed up because the police showed up after he reports the crime, the quote-unquote crime. And they find out through video evidence that the kid actually did it himself. Now, what we normally would call this is a person who is out there to stew the pot. They're trying to incite civil wars. They're trying to incite civil unrest. We actually think these people who claim fake hate crimes should actually be charged with hate crimes, because what you're doing is citing civil unrest. You're trying to start some type of political unrest and societal unrest in a racist manner. And how racist of you is it that you go out and drum up business for your group, your clan, your brainwashed masses, and lie to them because the ends justify the means in your little brainwashed world. But once the police showed up and it was all straightened out and they had actual video evidence of this kid making up this story, the police actually charged him with 4 different criminal acts. One was insurance fraud of the 3rd degree, a Class D felony. The second one is offering a false instrument for filing in the 2nd degree, a Class A misdemeanor. The next one is falsifying business records in the 2nd degree, a Class A misdemeanor. And also falsely reporting an incident in the 3rd degree, a Class A misdemeanor. Now, we don't think this is good enough. Or they should drop all of this stuff and flat out give this kid racist charges. This is racist conduct. This is conduct no different than if someone were to stand by a door and yell fire. Because in most states, in most counties all over the country, that in itself is illegal, because you can cause a stampede and people can die and get hurt in those stampedes trying to leave. And you're getting them to do it for no reason. And this is the same situation. You're getting people to react and get ticked off for a situation that never existed, that never happened. America is such a great country at this point in time in history that there's such a lack of racial hate crimes that it has to be manufactured. You have to manufacture fake BS, TikTok fake BS, to show the world how racist America is, how racist white people are. How many videos are you going to be showing white people not actually committing the crime that they're being accused of, and that the person who was trying to get at them in any way possible was making it up? This is why it's so important that you go through a system where everything has its checks and balances and somebody is relying on actual proof. These young kids today are brainwashed into believing that the ends justify the means against these evil people. I have news for you. Not anyone on this earth is completely evil. And not every race on this planet has any kind of problem against everybody. Everybody is their own person, and they don't have to be related to what their race is involving themselves in. Maybe there were a lot of people that believed in slavery at one point or another. I guarantee you, in all the race wars in history, all the racist crap that may have happened here or there, and all the slavery and whatnot that has trickled down through history, there's always been lies. There's always been deceit to get those things to actually happen because it benefits certain pockets. It's the same thing as if a stock market guru comes in and they want to make money in a stock. So they go to the comment section and they know it's going to drop, but they want it to drop lower. So they talk all this massively bad crap about this company that they actually want to buy into, because they're hoping between all of the bad talk that they give this company that people won't buy in and the stock drops, and hopefully they can get it for a little bit. Or everyone starts selling and the price volume goes down, and so does the stock. The buy-in is so heavy that it inflates. They make a pocket full of cash and close out and sell. Rinse and repeat. People don't understand that there is money to be had in you being lied to. Case in point, the Bubba Wallace incident. a race car driver doesn't know what a pull cord for a garage door is, and he's assuming that that's some kind of noose, and it takes 15 FBI guys to show up to investigate a pull rope on a garage door. Bubba Wallace has never seen a actual noose in his life because that's made out of a rope. A pull rope isn't actually a rope, that's more like a string. Ropes and strings are very different. Matter of fact, they're made out of different materials altogether. But when you have to have pro entertainers come out and tell you, oh man, this racial stuff happened to me, it was so terrible. When you do that, you should lose all of your credibility, you should lose all of your trust within the community, and I think you should be charged with racist crimes. Because it's somewhat a crime against humanity. You're trying to make it to where people are mad at other people and will take pot shots at them in vengeance. We see things like this, but then we simultaneously read other articles where mothers of little tiny children, because they happen to want to vote for Trump, have been shot and killed by Biden voters. And you mean to tell me there was no racism involved with that? The husband was Spanish. The people that they were arguing with and had shot at them were minorities. And the one person involved that got shot and died was the mother of that child, and it happened to be a white woman. There is such a thing as white genocide, whether the internet, whether all of these people want to acknowledge it, and it's wrong. You claim racism is a bane and it should be out of society altogether. But simultaneously, you're willing to go on a ledge and condemn other races such as white Caucasian males or white Caucasian females. You can't go around saying that you're not racist when you're committing crimes and lying to everyone else about who did it so that you can drum up anger and hate against the people that you don't like. You don't go through all of this effort to try to discredit someone you have no problem with. Make no mistake, hate resides everywhere in every race, in every person. You can either control it or be like this dimwit. In the same instance, we're pretty sure that fabricated false rape accusations are more frequent than most people think too. You just make up a story about someone and the judicial system takes over and you hope to God that you don't end up in jail because somebody said something about you. Now, if you think back to the Jessica Smollett situation, that doesn't give everybody the idea that, hey, no matter who you are, if you set up a situation to where it looks like somebody's committing a racist act, then by all means, if they find out that, well, wait a minute, it's not real, then we think that somebody should be in a lot of trouble for it. Do you understand how much the media had already played that out and basically condemned a whole entire race for the actions of some one particular person that paid people off to make MAGA hat people look bad? When you're attempting to incite violence against white people in particular, when you're doing that, that is racism. And don't give me this stuff about empowerment. Because when you as a minority are 24/7 being able to put that foot on somebody's neck, that is empowerment. It doesn't matter if you have money. You have the population increase, the business workings, and the economy to actually push your weight around a little bit. And, oh, well, that's not some kind of disillusionment, that you have no power. See, you play the victim, but you're a predator. It was probably an endeavor, an effort to drum up some kind of business for himself, a GoFundMe, etc., to pay off his own car. Not only was he willing to condemn a whole entire race for his own actions against his own property, but he was probably lying to everyone else, getting money from a GoFundMe account to pay for the damages when he never paid his car off. We're under the assumption. I don't think the liberal leftist mobs really catch the idea that Trump supporters don't really get into these type of things. They don't really riot, they rally. They don't really do all this ridiculous nonsense where they're attacking people, this, that, the other. Those type of activities aren't on their menu. They actually work for a living. The large majority of Trump supporters are middle-class Americans that work for a living. So explain to me how they have time on their busy schedule to come by and jack up your car, man. And if you look at this guy, if you go through profiles or any information on this kid, from what we gather, This is one of these type of people who it's being a constant victim. This is your CNN brainwashing in a nutshell. If you're black, you're always the victim. Did you beat up your own car because you couldn't pay your own payments and you blame it on Whitey? Well, that's because Whitey's in control and it's their fault that they put you in that position, right? And that's what the media will feed these young men. And it's terrible that they teach them how to be the consistent victim. Because when you're the consistent victim, somebody can point you in a direction and it involves racism and they'll just go with it. It's an actual cultist mentality. Anybody who's into the media heavily, when they eat the sensationalist media lies, they aren't just brainwashed. They're radicalized. They feel like they got to get up and do something about it. And if it's not there, they'll create it. Is little Jesse sitting at home somewhere so proud that he created a group of copycats that don't have his money or don't have the ability to fight off all the sentencing that's going to happen to them? We wonder if that man is so proud that he was able to enable a generation of young kids that were going to go out and act like morons and make themselves look stupid, hurt their own future, and they can't fight it off. Again, they don't have the political, the star power, the money, etc. to fight political battles, to fight criminal accusations. And the most ridiculous thing, and we will always bring this up because it's like the most moronic thing that we've ever heard in our life. You can't be racist if you're black. It's the most ironic and dumb thing we've ever heard in our life. Everyone has the penchant to be hateful. Everyone has the ability to be anything in life. So you tell me that not one single black person can ever be racist on some kind of crazy technicality. Well, we can always give it a new term, but it will be the same thing. That's why you have groups of people that say that they're going to call it reverse racism. We don't actually believe that it's reverse racism, but we like to go along with the terminology because at least it's understood. We don't think there's anything reverse about it. It's just simply racism. And the word itself is just thrown around between all of us as races to keep us divided. Think about all these dirty words in public that people say all the time. It has to get pretty bad before somebody throws the R word around in polite company. And keep in mind, these are coming from the same political ideologies, actual Congress people, saying that they need to round up Trump voters. And again, it was the same thing with Bernie Sanders bros. They heard this before the election, so the whole Democrat Party was thinking the same thing. That we need to put these people in gulags, in indoctrination camps. That you Trump supporters out there, something is inherently wrong with you and you're racist and we have to do something about you. We either have to get rid of you or we have to go ahead and put you in a facility to monitor your mental activities and change your outlook on life. If you don't agree with their agenda, they want to fix your brain or off you. As Oprah once said, the old South people, they need to die. These are your liberal, tolerant leftist folks. They're more globalist, elitist, racist a-holes than any white American at this point. But then, they refuse to do anything about the actual hate crime that's done against the white person. They don't call it a hate crime. You can literally get into a fist fight with a black man, and if you win the fight, the cops drag you off and they call it some kind of hate crime. We've witnessed that one before as well. A fair fight, guy loses, all of a sudden he's getting charged with a hate crime by the police when they show up. Why is that? We see a man whose home was broken into, and a man doesn't even pull a firearm, and he defends his family by bum rushing the fella out the door. This fella was white, and the person who tried to break in while his family was home was black. And it didn't matter who it was that was breaking into the home. It wouldn't have mattered if it was a white person or a Spanish person or anything else. The person was breaking into his home. And he pushes him out the door and proceeds to beat on him because he's afraid of what this man could do to his family. He defended his home, he defended his property, and he defended the lives of his children and wife. And they charge him with a racial crime on his own property, defending his own home. Had the roles been reversed, would they have called that a hate crime? You bet your bottom dollar they would have. This is all from basically the demand for hate exceeding the supply. When racism doesn't exist as a wholesale thing anymore, fake it. Fake it and make yourself a name. Fake it and try to lie to all these people around you, all your friends, all your family. Maybe there are racists. Look what they did to my cousin. Look what they did to my brother. And meanwhile, these young kids that go out and do this, that make up a make-believe racial sensitive BS to play on your emotions, when they do that, incidentally, it's like crying wolf. Every time the news media pops up something on our timeline where we see it like this, it's crying wolf. Because when there's real, actual racial injustices in this world, how are we supposed to know that that one is true versus this one's not? Do we have to have particular racial police to make sure that this kind of stuff doesn't happen? At what point do you say there needs to be laws to protect the innocent, not just the criminal? We hear people commenting about this was a BMW. This is somebody who goes around every day saying that they're oppressed. When you own a BMW, when you drive a BMW, even if it's like an old BMW, we don't want to hear the words oppressed, okay? You chose to go out and get an old shoddy BMW that you cannot buy parts for and have a hard time fixing. That's on you. You could have went out and got a car like a Ford or a Chevy or a Dodge that you can go to a parts place and buy all the parts you want. And at your age, you probably shouldn't be driving a BMW. But yeah, an 18-year-old black kid driving a BMW. Yeah, it all sounds racist to us. He's certainly and utterly oppressed. There's no mistaking how oppressed this young kid is. All he could afford was a BMW at the age of 18. Before we let you go, let's not forget that there's 38 dead people at the hands of Black Lives Matter and Antifa, quote-unquote, peaceful protesters. 38 people have died in BLM's effort to make their lives matter, in Antifa's effort to burn down Christian churches and businesses. This is close to even warfare. And we really hope that people can see right through this. We sincerely hope that the young minorities of America understand that it's not so simple. Don't just go out and condemn any race because you think something. Do some research. Find out if what you're seeing on the news in CNN circles, find out if that's actually true. Don't trust groups like MSNBC, CBS. These major news outlets aren't even American anymore. They would lie to you for a nickel. The fact of the matter is, you being brainwashed to believe that everyone is racist only gets them more view time. It only gets them more things to film. And if they can get you into a civil war, more the better. Who are you going to go to find out what's going on during the Civil War? And who's going to make the buku bucks, because no one's going to be able to take their eyes off the screens trying to find out what's going on with the quote-unquote Civil War. So again, you're talking about news outlets that are more than willing to make a facade and make it fake enough that they have the same issue. And this is the type of stuff that we're talking about with Democrats and liberals in particular. They have no reasoning. Their logic is fallible. When you're saying that the ends justify the means, you're wrong. And especially in this instance, because you've lost all your credibility, you've lost all your trust within normal parameters. Normal people aren't going to agree with this. And normal people are going to shut down and say, hey, what's fair is fair. And they're going to look at things logically and know that things like this didn't even occur. They didn't even happen. The only person that put that person through hell was himself. Anyway, you folks have a wonderful afternoon, a good morning, a good night. Please like, share, and subscribe. We really do appreciate that around here. Also, drop a comment down below. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to talk with you. And if you have any ideas for new videos, we'd also like to hear that too. God bless each and every one of you. See ya.